What's up, Canfield Nation? Welcome back to Coca's Pizza here in Canfield. We are pleased to be joined by Mike Pavlansky, the head coach for this Canfield football team. Coach, thanks for coming out for another week.
Appreciate you having me again, Richie. It's always wonderful to come out here on a Wednesday night and talk Canfield football.
It is. I mean, this is really starting to become a great tradition here at Steve Coca's place, and we can't thank him enough for having us here in this back patio, a beautiful venue to talk some Canfield football. And it's a great time to be a Cardinal right now.
Yeah.
You're 3-0, Coach, and you returned back to the sideline after missing your first game in 40 years. I mean, it had to be nice to get back out there.
It was great to be back around the kids and the staff last week, and culminating in the rivalry game against Poland. And just really proud of our guys. Taking on the first 3 games we have against quality opponents, and coming out so far on the right end of that score. And we've improved every week. And certainly 3 games don't make a season, and we got to continue to improve if we want to continue to have a chance for success.
How was that week of practice heading into Poland week? I know that's one of the most competitive weeks that you guys have. So what'd you kind of see from your guys, and how locked in were they?
Yeah, you saw that. That's just a different week. That's all there is to it. And our guys know, our juniors and seniors know, because they've been taught by the senior classes before them. Our sophomores found out that that's a totally different week in practice, from the players' perspective and the coach's perspective. And I thought our guys, did a great job within practice itself, and were well prepared for Friday night, and it showed.
Let's talk about that game a little bit. Recap the Poland Bulldogs game where you guys were able to come away with a 31-7 victory over your rival. Opening possession, Poland moved the ball a little bit. They got it inside your territory, able to get a big-time sack and force a punt. But after that, it was all defense for you guys. They only had 53 yards total. You got to be extremely happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And defensively, we knew coming into the game, we were going to get Poland's best shot. We told our kids, hey, here's what they are on film, but that's not the team you're going to see Friday night. You're going to see a team that's going to play faster, more physical than you have so far, because that's just the nature of our rivalry. And then, they got after us. They schemed us up pretty well in the first series. And then, like you said, Hunter Knotts, and I believe it was Vince Malkovich that came off the edge, and we got a sack, and kind of calmed our guys down, and we played extremely well defensively after that. And took over offensively. The concern offensively is we've started slow in the first 3 ball games. In each game, we've been 3 and out, so we got to get that corrected. But after the first series offensively, again, we felt we played pretty well.
Peyton, Evan, and Dom all talked about you throw the records out in a rivalry game like that. Is that something you preached all week to your guys?
Absolutely, you do. Absolutely. The 2 things you got to look at in rivalry week is the rushing yards and the turnover margin. And, I'm not too sure. I know we didn't cause any turnovers. I don't think we turned the ball over, but we certainly won the rushing yards by a wide margin. And that was the difference in the game. You
got a couple backs that have been carrying the load so far. You heard this. We talked about it. Mike Crawford, he was that go-to guy last year. Toby Smith got some carries, and now it's kind of that combination of backs so far this season. So what's it like in practice being able to watch a couple guys go at it?
It's great for the kids, get multiple guys back there. And the reason we have that is that, Danny and Scotty and Dom all play defense for us. And so we want them off the field on offense to get a break so they're as fresh as possible. Last year, Michael played minimal defense for us, so he was our go-to guy. And, the guys this year are doing a great job in learning and continuing to build upon their skills and fundamentals. And, so far, so good.
You threw some nice plays in there. Talking about Dom Marzano, who got that touchdown on the catch. You had him in motion. He slipped underneath. They lost track of him for a nice play. Is that something you knew you had to do? Your brother, who knows you very well, he probably watched film over and over again.
Right. I mean, that's just a weekly adjustment. That's all. And, that one worked out real well for us. Our offensive staff spends a lot of time on self-scout. What plays do we run on certain situations, certain parts of the field. And, we knew in the red zone area, we got into a certain personnel package that, we were about 90% run. And we felt that we needed to slip a pass in there. And there's a couple more that we have, but that was the one that worked out real well. Hunter Knotts did a great job running his route that allowed Dom to get into the flat. And then Jake Schnetter ran the guy off in the corner of the end zone. And that's the reason the play works.
Offensively, you guys spread the wealth a lot against Poland. Every single receiver got involved. It seemed like all seniors and all the juniors out there got involved. When you look at that, it was all Brock Lowry in week number 1 against West Branch. Scotty Eaton had 3 touchdowns against Bellevue. And you come out and you spread the wealth. Everybody gets involved in week number 3.
Yeah, each week's is different, different story in the fact that, what happened last week doesn't necessarily have to happen this week. And, you take a look at who you're playing, what schemes work well for you, what personnel packages work well for you. And in the middle of the game, obviously, you're making adjustments too. And, again, I think you're right. We threw the ball to maybe 7 or 8 receivers that caught a pass for us. And that's just the way it happened. And, lunch, a lot of guys are running the football. Danny got, a little bit dinged up at halftime. So we just said, hey, listen, you're going to play nothing but defense. I mean, because he had 3 rushes in the first half for 99 yards. And but not getting the ball in the second half, because we limited him to this defense. So, get him on one side of the ball. And if things worked out, then that was great. And if not, we get him off the field and shut him down for the night. But, we have a number of people we believe that can carry the load at any point in time.
Yep. And defensively, you preach this. We got to talk to 2 special guys on the defensive side, Evan Parker and Dom DiDonato. Dom DiDonato, a special part in the DN. Parker, like he said, he might go in if, somebody needs a rest or if somebody's hurt. But what have those guys meant to your program? Parker's been a guy that's played 3 years of varsity football for you. Right. And now Dom DiDonato, he's such a special piece on both the offensive and defensive line.
And those guys are tremendous for us. They're great leaders through the winter time in the weight room, speed training in the springtime, and just what they're doing in practice now, coaching the young kids when they're not in. And I just can't say enough about them. They 2-year starters, like you said. Evan's a 3-year letter winner. Going to be a 3-year letter winner for us, and we're going to miss those guys when the season's over with. Hopefully, it's not too soon, and hopefully our young kids are paying attention to the type of leadership you need to have when you're a senior, because those 2 guys certainly epitomize that.
I wanted to ask you this. To start the second half, Poland comes out and they try an onside kick, and they were successful and scored on the next play. You guys expect that coming out?
Oh, absolutely. That's Tom, and his coaching. They're very aggressive in their coaching, and, we knew that they were going to onside kick or they were going to pooch kick. It was going to be something different. We practiced it all week long. Hey, they executed. We didn't. So we got to practice that a lot more than what we did, because it's going to come up again.
To put a bow on this Poland game, you play really well in the second half. You put it away. Brock Lowry makes a couple of outstanding plays along with Danny Inglis, who breaks one open. Gavin Raymond with a touchdown in the back corner of the end zone. Yeah. What do you say to your brother after that game?
I just, again, Tom is doing a great job with their program. They're very, very young. I think they only have like maybe 12 seniors on the whole roster. There's a bunch of juniors and sophomores out there playing hard, and it's going to pay dividends for them. There's no doubt about that. Respected how hard their kids played. Respect the job that Tom and his staff do in preparing their kids, and hopefully you're healthy and you move on.
St. Thomas More, the opponent, coming to town. They're crossing the border from Ontario here to Ohio. And if there's anybody on this side of the border that's going to know St. Thomas More, it's you. I mean, what have you seen from them so far? I know some of the guys said that they haven't seen too much film. Maybe what are some things that you've seen at all?
Yeah, because they haven't been down here. They try to their staff tries to make one trip a year to the States to play football. And obviously with the pandemic, the last 2 years they haven't been here. So talking to their head coach, tremendous guy, I was able to meet him and his staff down in Columbus in the springtime at the Ohio State Clinic. Just happened to run into him. Saw a bunch of guys with St. Thomas More Canada shirts on, and went over and introduced myself. And we had a great time just sitting and talking. So if they're going to make the trip from Ontario, Canada to Ohio State for a 3-day weekend, they're serious about football.
Yes, they are.
They want to learn. They want to take it back to their school and improve, what they have with their kids. Hey, it's a tremendous program. Size of Division II school in Ohio. They've won 3 of the past 5 province titles or state titles up there. They're a private school, so they're going to get people from all over the area, and well coached. It's going to be interesting because, again, not having tape on them this year because this is their first ball game. The 1 year we traded tape was the 2019 season. We traded tapes for that year. We got one game where they played Jensen, Michigan. And he says, Coach, I've been here for 25 years. We're not changing our philosophies. This is our offensive package. Here's our defensive package. We trust them, and we said the same thing. Yeah. And, so we have their philosophy and their looks. But Friday night, you don't have the personnel. And so it's going to be important early on for our guys to trust the system, to trust their rules and the schemes and carry out their assignments and be fundamentally sound, until we can figure out who's who.
Yeah.
And trying to attack it that way.
How'd this game come about? I know you had an opening from last season. Was it an instance where you met up with those guys in Columbus and their coaching staff and reached out, or was that through Cochran, the AD?
Yeah, Coach Cochran did a tremendous job. Being independent, you have trouble finding games. And, he heard about St. Thomas More, did his research and presented it to us and said, yeah, absolutely, we'll play them. They're going to come down here and it'll be a great challenge. Anybody you bring in that's going to win three of the past 5 state titles, it's going to be a tremendous game. And that's the type of game we want our kids to play. That's
a pretty cool opportunity for not only this coaching staff, the players, but also the community of Canfield. You got a team coming from Ontario. One of the first times in a long time that you guys have played somebody like this. I mean, nobody knows much about them.
No. Yeah, it's the first time, to my knowledge, we've ever brought a team in from out of the States. And looking forward to it. They're going to get down here Thursday afternoon around 2 and have a practice. And then Friday head to the Hall of Fame. And Saturday, I think they're going to one of the college games. It might be Youngstown State that's invited them to that game against Dayton and, make it a nice weekend bonding trip for them. And obviously they're going to come down here expecting to give a great account of themselves and win the ball game. So we got to be at our best.
Prove me if I'm wrong. I think this is an exhibition game for them. So you guys might have the upper hand playing 3, and this is their first stepping onto the turf this season.
Yeah, there's no doubt. We're going to be more experienced than they are. The first game jitters are out. It counts in the playoffs for us. Doesn't count for them when they're in Canada. So that's a positive for them and a positive for us. And those first game jitters, hopefully, we can take advantage of.
St. Thomas More, who's won 3 out of the last 5 state championships, like you said. So what do you preach to your guys, throughout the week? Because there's a lot of uncertainty with this team.
Be prepared. You're going to play a tremendous program. Be prepared, because if you're not, it's not going to end up well for you. And then obviously you want to, have the pride of, you're playing a team from out of the country that you give a good account of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost like that national kind of perspective. Like, hey, we're playing U.S. against Canada. It's almost like the same when you're playing Ohio against Pennsylvania. Right. You want to represent your country.
You want to represent, the area. You want to represent the state. You want to represent the country, and that, give a good account of yourself so you play quality football, and hopefully things work out.
Talked about the offensive keys coming in. You want to start better. A couple 3-and-outs to start the year. What do you think it's going to take for your squad to get off to a good start in that first possession?
I think we got to put them in a great position somehow. Just figure out, if they're true to their word of 2019. And, we got to do a better job of a coaching staff of putting our kids in a better position starting the ball game. And maybe map that out a lot better than what we have. And then secondly, the kids, obviously, they've got to be fundamentally sound. And if they're fundamentally sound, we got a chance not to go 3-and-out.
And defensively, Peyton was talking about this as an outside linebacker. His job changes from week to week. When there's no film on this team, it's very difficult for him and the other linebackers to prepare. So as a coaching staff, maybe what are some things that you guys are doing throughout this week? You still got one more day left to practice to get ready.
Yeah, you go back to fundamentals. In the summertime, the first day in the summertime, you're an outside linebacker. All right, and here's a formation. This is how you line up. And they've got to line up that way until we can figure out what we need to do next. We better be able to line up against base formations and then work our way from there. If we're not lining up correctly to base formations, we're going to be in a world of trouble.
To wrap this thing up, Coach, we appreciate your time coming out here for another week. We always ask for the keys to the game. What are they to beat St. Thomas More?
My goodness. And again, it's really true against a team you don't know anything about, their personnel. You got to win the rushing battle. We got to be able to control the ball. Poland had the ball last week, 27 minutes to our 20 minutes, and that's not good. Eventually, that's going to catch up to you. We got to cause turnovers. This is the first time in a long time I can remember in the first 3 games of the season we have not caused a turnover. And that's kind of disappointing, to be honest with you, Richie. And we got to be able to cause turnovers Friday night. And then you got to be able to win the special teams. We lost a special team hit in yards last week by 30 yards. That's 3 first downs in big ball games, and that's got to get corrected too. So, things don't change. It's going to be a little bit more interesting not knowing the personnel you have that you're going to be playing against. But those certainly are the keys.
Coach, we appreciate you coming out. Another week number 4 coming up. Canfield taking on St. Thomas More. We will have it for you on Friday night. Kickoff starts at 7 o'clock from Bob Dove Field at Cardinal Stadium. Another Coach's Corner with Mike Pavlansky, brought to you by Coca's Pizza here in Canfield.